Hi everybody, it's Grace. So today is the last day of 2014 and everyone notices it. Isn't it funny? You get lots of emails, Happy New Year! And in some ways the date and the numbers have no importance whatsoever. Today is just like another day. And the meaning we give it can create something powerful, and you can look back and see what's difficult and look forward and see what might be challenging, what you want instead. But that's all past or future, and the present moment is really in many ways the most potent, the most alive. Like right here now you are listening to my voice and there is a presence, there's a moment that has someone's voice in it, maybe a picture if you're watching the video, but you've got your environment, the computer you're sitting next to, the room, the air that's alive and hanging around you, your own lungs that are breathing. So I first wanted to share with this Eating Peace video today, most of all, the greatest power and presence that are in this, that is now. And in many ways, maybe that's the only place anything is that's truly brilliant and alive. Not that those memories or imagined way that the future will go aren't exciting and real, and those thoughts are real that are going through your mind. There's a lot of talk about illusion and reality. And I do see, wow, I'm touching this dresser right now. I'm sitting here speaking to you. I'm looking at a little tiny dot that's a camera, and I know you are on the other side of it. It's very, very sweet. There's something in here, inside me, that's extremely connected to what's happening. So I wanted to share a little story, especially for those of you who suffer from food and eating issues of any kind. This morning, earlier, my Eating Peace group that's in the intensive 3-month program together gathered for the Wednesdays when we do practice inquiry. They have a presentation that everyone sees on Sundays, and then practice is on Wednesday. And everyone answers questions and speaks out loud and shares and checks in. And most of the people who showed up had some sort of discouragement, had some place where they had gathered with family, or they had been on their own with a tin of cookies, or chocolate had been in their car somewhere. Dreams of big chocolate bars had gone through their minds. There's this sense of what it is to be perfect. If I had it all together, if I had it under control, if I was doing it the way I think it should be done. And there's that picture, and when you don't measure up to it, don't match that picture, then a very quick conclusion about the despair and agony and emptiness of being imperfect, someone who's doing it wrong. And we did the work on the concept, I'm all alone. I'm all alone. That can have this feeling inside that is attached to it when you decide that is a stressful experience, that is empty, fearful. I used to have this picture of floating in outer space with nothing in sight, but just little tiny twinkling stars in the distance, which could have an interesting, but the sense of that there was no one ever to be in sight, and this would be endless and infinite. No one to talk to, nothing there. And people feel this way a lot with something like a process that's compulsive, like food and eating. People would note how it's gone back way, all the way into their childhood, and then the thought, I've had this for years and years and years. It's repeating itself again. I'm going into the same patterns. Well, if you just stop and catch yourself holding that belief, I'm all alone, and consider who you'd be if you couldn't think it. Or even if you did a turnaround with it, if you shifted the thought into what people call the Yahoo turnaround, 180 degrees turnaround, 360 degrees. I'm all alone. I am all alone, all one. I am all alone and it's okay. I'm all alone and I can do this. I'm all alone and very imperfect, and all is strangely well. All I know is this life force is happening, this inner mystery is alive, this sense of spirit and connectedness is happening just as much as the disconnected is happening, and there's so much power in this present awareness. And you can really feel and find your own examples of how you are not alone. It's not in an effort to do positive thinking, kind of cover up the despair of aloneness and lonesomeness and loneliness, but to find those turnarounds and see who you'd be without the thought, and use your brilliant imagination to see how you are not alone. What if you lived that turnaround, that you aren't? And one thing I noticed, the most simple way, everyone who was in that class this morning, everyone who was on the call, dialed a phone number and took the effort to remember to dial in and be there and show up and talk and connect, and everyone had the same experience and we're all in it together. Great evidence for the opposite being true. We're not all alone. So I wanted to share with you something that I wrote in my regular grace notes, the daily grace notes, yesterday. And you may be familiar with it, but I love it, from Jeff Foster. You take this into your experience with food and eating today. Highlight that and bring it into your awareness. Jeff calls this poem The Dance. We never rehearsed this. We are a mess. We tremble and perspire. We step on each other's toes. Sometimes we go out of tune and forget our lines. But at least this is real. At least we are not half alive, buried under the weight of some image we never believed in anyway. I will always take this imperfect dance over no dance at all. See if that's true even around your relationship and your dance that you have with food and eating. Would you take this imperfect dance if this is your only path to peace, rather than no dance at all? I say yes. Thanks for being here. Happy new you. Happy new moment. Bye, everybody.